if we want to begin, we'll have Chad come up on behalf of Staff Senate.
What I had to say was worth to walk over it. I don't know that I can compete with that. So I'm Chad Hearn. I'm here on behalf of the Staff Senate, the President and Vice President. I had something come up apparently, so here I am. Just wanted to mention a couple things. Winter Feast is coming up, and that is December 3rd. It's the Thursday after Thanksgiving break. December 3rd in this room, Student Center Ballroom, at 11:30 a.m. We will have door prizes, entertainment, and there was an email sent out earlier today with a flyer attached that outlined the Winter Feast and all that's going on there with the angel tree. And so if you have any questions or anything, you probably can get your answers on that. Or if not, there's contact information there to ask any questions about Winter Feast. So that's that. The other big thing is professional development for quarter 3. Those applications normally are the deadline normally is passed at this point, but we had some new monies involved with our quarter 3 that we changed, so we extended that deadline to November the 30th. And instead of the 500 per applicant max award, now we've increased that to 2,000. So encourage the folks in their areas if they have conferences or professional development opportunities in quarter 3, that's January through March, make sure they apply for that. And then quarter 4 will be January. I believe that's all I had. You guys have any questions? I hope that was good. Okay, thank you.
Part of what Mr. Hearn said is newsworthy, or not. I'm not saying it's newsworthy, but obviously it's stuff the campus would like to know. We have there's several events coming up in December, so everyone needs to be mindful of those. Like Chad said about the Winter Feast, we also have a reception for the SGA, and I don't, Zach's not here, but they have that on their calendar. We have a faculty and staff reception over there on December the 9th. There's a community open house many of you will be invited to, which is on Friday, December the 4th. Our last Board of Trustees meeting of this calendar year is Friday, December the 11th. At that meeting, in all likelihood, that's the last board meeting of Bobby Reynolds. So if you see him on campus that day, it would be a nice gesture if you thanked him for his service, what he's done for UCA. He was appointed in January of 2009, and this will be the concluding meeting of his 7 years. I will say this about Mr. Reynolds. To the best of my knowledge, he's only missed one commencement, and that's not an entire day. That's one commencement, because we have 3 in May, and one year I think this last May, he only made 2 of them instead of all 3. So he's made every single one since he's been on the board except that one. The other thing he's done is he has been at most of the SGA functions. I think he's been at every SGA banquet that they've ever had, and he's been to other student events across campus. We have a very, very important football game this Saturday at 6 o'clock. If you would encourage everyone to attend. If we win, I would think it's a certainty that we make the national playoffs, which would be significant. We also are hosting the conference volleyball tournament starting Friday, and that's an infectious sport. You get hooked on it, and volleyball's a lot of fun to watch. We also have upcoming, we have a lot of one-act plays over in Snow, I believe in a couple weeks. So there's a lot going on in Snow Fine Arts, and the band has an extravaganza. What is it, December the 4th? Anyway, there's the jazz band, there's the bear marching band, and what's the other one? Yeah, anyway, there are 3 different groups, and they're playing over in Reynolds Performance Hall. And so that's a great night, I think, for not only for the band program, but also for the university. So there's a lot of stuff going on between now and the end of the semester. The board agenda, it probably won't be that long in December. One thing that we will, if Warren tells me we can pull the trigger on, not literally pull the trigger, I better not say that anymore, if we can move ahead with the proposed acquisition of the Hatfield property that's been under discussion. That property's on Donaghy, right across from the Alpha Sigma Tall House, and so that will probably be before the board at that time to close in early 2016. We'll also have a lease agreement with Marble Slab and Great American Cookie. Well, that's not the name of the company, but that's what they're selling. So that will be the final, excuse me, the final tenant for the Donaghy Hall project. Both of the construction projects are, well, they were doing real good till yesterday. I'm sure they'll be behind after this, but both are progressing along nicely. I think they're almost like in a race some days to see who can do the most that day. So we're very, very fortunate to have those two structures coming along so nicely. And there's a lot of activity in the community and a lot of discussion about those two buildings that we have ongoing. So we feel real good about that. Just trying to think if there's anything else. Oh yeah, this Friday, thank you, Kelly. This Friday is the 50th anniversary of the Model United Nations. Started 50 years ago by a lot of people, but spearheaded by Sims McClintock, who was a long-time faculty member here in political science, and it's a great legacy that Sims left this university. 50 years. And so we'll have that. Then also Thursday night, I believe, from like 4:30 to 6, we're having international programs is going to have a vigil out in the amphitheater area for the students, families, and people to remember and pray and contemplate what happened, the tragedy in France and Paris. So anybody that wants to go to that would be a good thing. And also, we're still deciding, I visited with the chief and some of the people on the chief's staff about Safe Walk. Safe Walk is scheduled for this Thursday night as well. At 6 o'clock. Is it 6 or 5:30? It's 5:30. So just stay tuned for more announcements about that. We may or may not have Safe Walk that night, and if we don't, we'll redo it, but we still have it under discussion. The one good thing about the power being out this morning was that it gave Diane and others that know about this stuff an opportunity to see what emergency lights were out in the stairwells and other things. So I'm sure that there'll be a list developed. So if you know, if in your particular building or wherever you were going at that time, if there were problems with emergency lighting being out or whatever, get in touch with Larry Lawrence, the physical planner, or Diane, or someone on her staff, so to let us know, because that's one of those, you hate for it to come up like that, but it does provide you sort of a little opportunity to take a look at what's not working. It's sort of a forced safe walk for a couple hours in some of the stairwells. What else? Anything else? Anybody? I've tried to hit on a variety of topics. We got a lot going on. I think we're going to have a good end of the semester. We had a very good trip to Apple in Chicago, to the extent I can talk about it. One thing you learn when you sit down in Chicago is that you couldn't take any pictures, you couldn't tape record. What else could you not do? There are all these don'ts.
You couldn't say Google in the Apple office.
Right. They're not real fond of Google. But anyway, we had a very good meeting with some executives from different parts of the country that work for Apple that showed us some of the up-and-coming technology and how it may be used on our campus. Dr. Davis was there. We had 3 deans, Dr. Victoria Grove Scott, Terry Wright, and Dr. Steve Addison were on the trip. Diane was there, TJ Kelly. I know I'm forgetting somebody. Me. I was the least knowledgeable one in the room. But we had a very good visit. It was a very productive. We spent about 6 hours locked up in a room with them in downtown Chicago to see what we could do as far as student learning. Oh, Dr. Michael Mills, I forgot about. Gosh, how could I forget him? This guy's unbelievable over in the College of Ed, who's an Apple.
Just Distinguished.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Apple Distinguished Educator, and goes all over the country lecturing about things that he's been able to do using Apple products in the classroom. So a very good trip, and we'll continue those discussions probably next month with Apple as we move ahead. Anything else? Anybody got any questions? Chad, thank you. Dr. Rowley, let the record reflect that Dr. Rowley did call. He did ask whether he needed to come, and I told him at that time, based on the attendance that I saw with my own eyes, I thought it would not be a wise use of his time or his legs to come over here. Zach, I'm sure, had the same sentiment, and I perfectly understand that. Before we break up, yes, Dr. Glenn?
I was just going to say that, assuming that we will have a campus talk or two in the spring semester, I will have updates on the HLC process, which is moving along.
Right, and I should, we had talked about you maybe doing it here. It really doesn't.
I think it'll be better.
We will, and probably we'll need to send out, when we send the next notice out, we'll mention that. But, this visit from the Higher Learning Commission site team is going to be on us before we know it. I mean, it's next November, and it seems like it's a long time off, but it really isn't. And there's a lot of work that has to be done. And what's the lockdown date? Sometime in August?
August 1st is what we're aiming for.
So many of you will be busy throughout the spring semester working with some of the subcommittees that are doing the self-study for the Higher Learning Commission. This, I think 2010 showed everybody from the board on down that when these site teams come, you got to take it seriously. And I think the Higher Learning Commission team will be very impressed with the product that they see with Jonathan's leadership and others that have worked on it. But if you get an email or a call from Dr. Glenn, and it says in the subject line, Higher Learning Commission, read it quickly. Take it to heart, and let's do a good job on that. Stephen, you got anything? Okay, Stephen Shook, if you ever need a piano player extraordinaire, call him. He's incredible, and most recently played for the Miss UCA Scholarship Pageant, because the Log Cabin Democrat said he did. But anyway, that's it. Thank y'all for coming. Sorry about the weather. It's speak now or forever hold your peace. Loris, you got anything? Okay, everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. If you're traveling, be safe. And we'll see you back when the next time we have it. Okay, thanks. Okay.